What is going on, guys? NFL teams are made up of 53-man rosters. That's a lot of different individuals with different beliefs and viewpoints who are expected to share a locker room with each other, travel together, and buy into the same system for an entire season, all in order to achieve the ultimate goal of winning a Super Bowl. Some teams like the Patriots are obviously better than others when it comes to getting all 53 men on the same team to get along with each other. But even the greatest teams are susceptible to the occasional sideline shouting match. NFL players are ultra competitive after all, and sometimes emotions can get the best of these guys. So we shouldn't be surprised when we see a player ripping one of his fellow teammates on live TV. Believe me, it happens quite often, as you're about to see. Here are 14 instances where an NFL player was caught ripping their teammates on live TV. Number 14, Jason Witten isn't happy. The Dallas Cowboys entered the 2019 season with Super Bowl aspirations. They now had Pro Bowl wideout Amari Cooper for a full season. The young defense was only going to get better. Dak Prescott would make leaps in his contract year. The offensive line was going to be healthier. Oh yeah, we forgot. This is the Dallas Cowboys. They never live up to their annual championship expectations. A sloppy Week 12 road loss to the Patriots dropped Dallas to 6-5. 4 days later, they were embarrassed 26-15 at home by the Buffalo Bills on Thanksgiving. Now the Cowboys had to win against another underachieving team, the Chicago Bears, in Week 14. Nope. Prescott and the offense didn't show up until garbage time, and the defense didn't contain the struggling Mitch Trubisky. It was a brutal and frustrating loss that dropped Dallas to 6-7 on the year. The highlight of that embarrassing performance for the Cowboys may have been when none other than Jason Witten decided to show some leadership on the sidelines. Or at least we think this is some form of leadership. Now we could be wrong, but the future Hall of Famer may have been saying to himself, I came out of retirement and left the Monday Night Football broadcast booth for this? Number 13, Brock Osweiler's teammates ignore his pep talk. Brock Osweiler had a short up-and-down career in the NFL. On the one hand, he performed well in 6 games for the Denver Broncos in 2015, while Peyton Manning was sidelined with an injury. And even though the Sheriff was behind center for Denver's Super Bowl 50 triumph, Osweiler still did his job in earning a ring that season. However, Osweiler made the career-changing mistake by signing a 4-year, $72 million deal with the Texans. The Brockness monster was a big flop in Houston, and before he knew it, Osweiler was back with the Broncos during the 2017 season. Osweiler's second go-around with Denver was a disaster, however. During a meaningless Week 16 2017 game against the Washington Redskins, Osweiler grew frustrated with the offense. He screamed at the players on the sidelines, seemingly hoping to fire them up. But nobody really cared about what Osweiler had to say. As you can see, his teammates completely tuned him out. It's worth mentioning that Denver lost 27-11. Osweiler's failed pep talk kind of summarized their season right there. Number 12, Phillip Rivers and Antonio Gates go at it. Rivers and Gates are arguably the two greatest players in Chargers history. They helped the franchise earn a top record in the NFL during the 2006 season. And of course, Rivers and Gates guided the Chargers to the 2007 AFC Championship game. Rivers and Gates dominated the NFL together for over a decade. You can argue that they're the greatest quarterback-tight end duo of all time. But even the bestest of friends and the closest of teammates have their bad days. Take the Chargers' Week 11 2015 home game against the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chargers were about to drop their 6th straight game, and both Rivers and Gates saw their patience wear out. The two longtime teammates got fed up and took their frustrations out on one another. The Chargers were blown out 33-3 in a game that essentially summed up their season. They finished with a woeful 4-12 record. It just wasn't their year, as evidenced by the Gates-Rivers clash. Number 11, Tom Brady educates his new receivers. Rob Gronkowski retired. Chris Hogan signed with the Carolina Panthers. Antonio Brown was released after 1 game. Demaryius Thomas was traded to the Jets. Add it all up, and the New England Patriots had a revolving door of pass catchers throughout the 2019 season. Tom Brady struggled to find chemistry with everybody not named Julian Edelman. And as the Patriots offense struggled during a Week 13 2019 game against the Texans, Brady took it upon himself to educate his new crop of receivers. Looks as though he was telling the guys to be faster, more explosive, and quicker. Unfortunately for Brady, that didn't end up being the case. New England fell 28-22 to Deshaun Watson and company, with 2 of their touchdowns coming in garbage time. It was too little too late. Brady's wide receivers, unfortunately, were not faster, quicker, or more explosive. It was just one of those bad days at the office for TB12. Number 10, Phillip Rivers hates using timeouts. Chargers quarterback Phillip Rivers is known for being quite animated during games. You can make a million memes about the guy based on his facial expressions alone. The guy's a likely Hall of Famer, we all know that. Rivers isn't usually one to yell at his teammates during games, but during a 2017 home game against the Philadelphia Eagles, he got fed up after having to burn a timeout on a 4th and 7 play in the 4th quarter. Cheer up, Phil. It's not that bad. You got 9 kids. That could be a positive thing. Number 9, Antonio Brown takes it out on the cooler. Antonio Brown enjoyed 9 spectacular seasons with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He earned 7 Pro Bowl and 4 first-team All-Pro selections while setting numerous franchise records. Brown also helped the Steelers reach Super Bowl 45, where they narrowly fell to the Green Bay Packers. But Brown, like many great wide receivers, had a big attitude problem. The Steelers simply decided to put up with it, however, due to his world-class talent. Case in point, during the Week 4 2017 game against the Baltimore Ravens, Ben Roethlisberger didn't spot a wide-open AB downfield, and he instead tossed an incomplete pass towards Le'Veon Bell. Brown was so upset with Big Ben on the sidelines that he took it out on a Gatorade cooler. That was a sign of things to come. Brown got into a heated confrontation with Big Ben prior to the Steelers' Week 17 contest against the Bengals, causing him to be sent home from practice and benched for their must-win game. That was the final straw for AB in Pittsburgh, as he was traded to the Raiders in the ensuing offseason. Number 8, Tom Brady, do your job. The New England Patriots visited the Jacksonville Jaguars in Week 3 of the 2018 season. This was one of the most hyped-up games on the schedule, since it marked a rematch of their thrilling 2017 AFC Championship showdown, a 24-20 New England victory. The Jaguars learned from their previous mistakes against the Pats and built a 14-0 lead at home. The Jacksonville defense was all over Brady and the offense. After a sloppy first quarter, number 12 lit into his teammates on the sidelines. And for what it's worth, offensive coordinator Josh McDaniels was even more fired up than Brady. The Jaguars never took their foot off the gas pedal, and they cruised to a 31-20 victory. Brady was limited to 2 touchdown passes, and the Jaguars got a strip sack on him. Yet it wasn't a pretty day for Brady or McDaniels. You can understand why they were hot that day, and it wasn't because of the Jacksonville weather. Zingers. Number 7, Jameis Winston flips on his teammates. It's been a frustrating NFL tenure for Jameis Winston, whom the Tampa Bay Buccaneers selected with the first overall pick in 2015. Winston has put up some big numbers, but his constant turnovers and inability to take the Bucs to the playoffs have been well documented. Winston's attitude problem on and off the field haven't helped. His temper was on display during a 2017 road game against the Carolina Panthers. Once the Bucs blew their chance to win the game, Winston flipped out on his own teammates. If that's not ripping on your teammates, what is? Number 6, Terrell Owens versus Donovan McNabb. The Eagles made a blockbuster move by acquiring Pro Bowl wideout Terrell Owens from the San Francisco 49ers in the 2004 offseason. T.O. and Donovan McNabb absolutely dominated together throughout the season, guiding Philly to a Super Bowl 39 appearance, where they narrowly fell to the Patriots. This partnership looked destined for something special, but Owens' ego got in the way. In short time, T.O. decided that he didn't like his quarterback, even calling him out publicly. We were able to view some of the tense moments between these two, as Owens was never shy about telling McNabb how open he was on the sideline. Owens continued to clash with his teammates and coaches during the 2005 season, and the team suspended him for detrimental conduct. He was released in the offseason, and the NFC East rival Dallas Cowboys scooped him up, thus adding even more fuel to their rivalry. Number 5, Kirk Cousins and Adam Thielen. Coming off an appearance in the 2017 NFC Championship game, the Vikings signed Kirk Cousins to a 3-year, $84 million contract, guaranteed, believing he would be the final piece to win a Super Bowl. But Cousins struggled with consistency throughout the season, and the Vikings had to win their Week 17 2018 showdown against the Bears to get into the playoffs. Otherwise, that was it for them. Cousins and the Minnesota offense never found their groove in the game, and naturally frustrations boiled over with Cousins and wide receiver Adam Thielen. The Vikings wound up losing 24-10, thus missing out in the postseason. You could only imagine that Thielen and Cousins got even more heated in the locker room after the game. Number 4, Dez Bryant goes at it with Jason Witten. Former Dallas Cowboys wide receiver Dez Bryant sure brought a lot of sideline antics to his game. The 3-time Pro Bowler recorded a trio of 1,000-yard seasons, and he was instrumental in helping Dallas win the NFC East in 2014 and 16. But Bryant rubbed a lot of people the wrong way due to his constant flip-outs, especially on the sidelines. Of course, Bryant also had a memorable clash with a reporter in the Cowboys locker room during a frustrating 2015 season. But Bryant's most memorable outburst took place near the end of the Cowboys' Week 8 2013 game against the Lions. Matthew Stafford had pieced together an efficient last-minute drive to help Detroit emerge victorious, scoring on a quarterback sneak in the waning seconds. That made Mr. Bryant very grumpy, and after screaming at Tony Romo, he shifted his focus towards Jason Witten. Bryant had to eventually be restrained, although some are probably wishing that they just went at it, but oh well. Number 3, Jameis Winston goes off on Ryan Jensen. Winston and the Buccaneers hoped for a turnaround during the 2018 season, but it didn't exactly go that way. During a Bucs home game against the New Orleans Saints, Winston was caught on camera flipping out at his center, Ryan Jensen. And boy oh boy was Winston ever so grumpy. Tampa Bay wound up losing 28-14 and Winston was sacked 4 times. No wonder he was so mad. Number 2, Tom Brady loses it on Julian Edelman. Yep, another angry segment involving Tom Brady. The guy just can't contain himself sometimes. The Patriots hosted the Baltimore Ravens in Week 15 of the 2016 season on Monday Night Football. It was the latest edition of an epic rivalry that included 4 postseason matchups in the last 7 years. Though Tom Brady wound up having a field day against the stingy Ravens defense. He was quite fed up with Julian Edelman after an incomplete pass midway through the first quarter. It was perhaps Brady's biggest sideline blow-up ever. After the game, Edelman said it was merely a miscommunication with Brady. And hey, the Pats won anyway, and they have like a bunch of Super Bowls. Number 1, Peyton Manning screams at Jeff Saturday. Peyton Manning and center Jeff Saturday spent over a decade together with the Indianapolis Colts. Both perennial Pro Bowlers turned the Colts into a juggernaut, leading them to a Super Bowl 41 championship. But as we said in the Gates-Rivers entry, even the best of teammates can fight once in a while. And on one instance, Manning flipped out on Saturday for apparently trying to call the plays in a 2005 home game against the St. Louis Rams. Needless to say, it was one of the rare occasions where Manning really lost his cool.
Call the plays, all right?
Hey, we gotta run the ball.
When we pass, block. We'll run the ball.
Sit down.
I will sit down. Don't quit yelling. Hey, go sit down.
Funny thing is, the Colts won soundly, 45-28. Maybe that argument between Peyton and Jeff was what got them going. Either way, you'll be happy to know that these two were later seen apologizing and making up on the sideline later in the game. No surprise that these two Colts legends moved on from their argument like true gentlemen. What other times did an NFL player get caught ripping their teammates on live TV? Join me in the comment section below. Make sure to follow myself and TPS on social media. We post great content all the time. TikTok, baby. I TikTok all the time. Go follow me. I got really good videos. And yeah, go give it a look. As well as YouTube. We're on all social medias, Instagram, Twitter. Go check out TPS. We got everything. Yeah, go give us a look. Make sure to subscribe to TPS. We post videos all the time. New videos all the time. Subscribe. Give this video a like because honestly, it really helps us out. And if you learned something, then give it a like because you learned something because of this video. That's awesome. Of course, thank you so much for watching. I'm Jason Biondo. I'll see you next time.
My knee.